The best part of your week is about to begin. This is the time where we talk shop, swap stories, and share lessons from our wild adventures in the creative industry. With each and every lovingly crafted episode, we strive to bottle that magic, warm, electric feeling you get after coffee with a new friend or attending a fantastic breakout session at a creative conference. You might start as strangers, but you'll leave as friends. Buckle up, settle in, and get ready for this episode of Making a Mark. Hello and welcome, gang, to another utterly delightful episode of Making a Mark, the show where we huddle up with creators and folks that we want to meet and ask them one big creative question. I am joined, as always, by my fearless co-host, Ashley Ulmer. Ash,
I don't know if I would say I'm fearless. I have a lot of fears, actually, but
okay,
I wouldn't say the
fearful co-host.
Yeah, I'm fearful of a lot of things. I wouldn't say the podcast I'm fearful of, but yeah, most things in life I'm pretty timid. I'm kind of scared of a lot of things. But anyway, what's the hat say today, Josh? What's your hat? I can't read.
Buscadero Moto Co.
Oh, nice. I was gonna wear a hat today. But then, see, I'll show you my Padre hat.
Padre.
My headphones look stupid with it. So I was like, well,
what if you just unsnap the back of it and put the hat on top of the headphones?
That'd be so stupid. Oh, like, hey, guys. So.
That's it. That's the look right there.
Oh man. God. So did you have a less crazy week this week, or is it still just insane?
It was pretty crazy. Today, you want popcorn? Lovely. Let's go ahead.
I love how she says popcorn.
Hey, you asked so nicely, young lady. All right, wait 2 minutes and Daddy, go get it. Go sit down and finish your show. We are also joined as recently by my opinionated 3-year-old daughter, Pace Whiting.
She's our third co-host now. I love it.
She has recently decided that naps are for wimps, and she likes to be awake. And my wife is dealing with my son this time of the day. So here we are.
I think we need a new segment. I think we need a new segment. After, not this season, because we're almost done with this season, but next season, I think we need a segment called Pace's Corner. And she can she can kind of let us know what's going on in her world and give us an update.
Veto. Disagree.
Why? She's
Not
so
about
cute.
That life. She is adorable and she is wonderful. But yeah, you kind of hinted to something that I do want to announce, that we'll be taking a break next week because I'll be out of pocket, doing a fun little beach trip. And then the following week, May 12th, we've got a super cool designer joining us, and excited to talk with her. And then we'll be doing our season finale, making some announcements and some decisions and some cool stuff. New segment, Pace Setter. Hey, love that.
That's awesome.
Play on words with Josh Lewis. So let's go ahead and bring some of our guests on to the stream today. Up first, we've got Alex Pesak. Is that how you say it?
Pesak, but I'll take anything. Nobody ever gets it right.
As a whiting, I can completely relate to that. I just nod my head and say, yes, it's Whiting most of the time.
I know. I was staring at your last name and I was like, not even going to try. I'm just going to let you do that
what's
one.
What's the point? Who needs last names anymore?
Right?
So, Alex, you are the A behind AP Creative, correct? Or probably the P as well.
The P as well,
yeah. I'm really thinking.
Yeah.
I just know that you do have a little gang of amigos helping you. Is it a one-man show? Or a one-woman show?
Majority one-man show, but I do have a web designer that I contract out, and I have an intern as well.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Nice. Yeah. Tell us about what kind of stuff do you mostly work on?
Sure. So I specialize in branding. And then late last year around fall time is when I started offering website design. But then other than that, I do print and digital collateral for independent business owners, or I like to jump in with other companies or other agencies as just a helping hand to help knock stuff out that their team might not be able to take on, or that they have way too much stuff and they just need an extra buddy to jump in and help.
I love it. That's awesome.
So I love it all. I like to say that there's not a lot I'll say no to, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
same.
The glory of
no, go ahead.
The glory of being on your own is that you can say no if you want, but sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, why not? Like, let me say yeah and just see what happens.
Right. No, I totally feel that. I remember when I first started designing, same thing. I would be like, I'll do anything. I'll do anything. And then it got to the point where people were asking me to do like web design, and I don't know like anything about that. So finally, like I used to be like, yeah, I'll do it, and I'd like figure it out. But then finally, I was like, no, I'm just gonna just nix that because I can't. I can't do it. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
It's a total different way of thinking too. Like I'm used to thinking like 2D, you know, flat on the screen and not really like how your brain and your eyes are supposed to move across a whole like website, you know, CTAs and all of this stuff. And I've learned a lot since working with my web designer who I use. But it's cool now to kind of offer that additional thing other than here's your beautiful brand. Good luck. Make everything on your own.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is so fun. I'm so excited about our other two guests. And normally, I hope Josh can hear me. He's helping pace right now, but I can normally bring the guests on, but for whatever reason, my StreamYard is not. I don't have the option to do that today. So Josh, you have to fly it because I can't bring them on deck today.
Lovely. Well, welcome aboard, Mr. Joshua Noom. How are you doing today, my guy?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Thanks for asking.
Glad
Appreciate you having me on the show.
Yeah, can I interest you in a fruit snack or a bag of chips, perhaps? Because I'm making a run here, probably again in a second.
Man, I have a 4-year-old myself, so we're stocked up on that stuff. So you can save it for you.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thanks for being here, Josh.
Excited
to talk.
Yeah, it's always interesting, like coming on some of these. Like, it's my first time meeting people. Maybe Ashley selected the guest, or just somebody else came across it. Oh, great person to meet. And then there's other times where I come across them like, I have your like prints in my office, and I'm like, I know tons of stuff about you. But for those of you who don't, can you introduce yourself to the friends here?
Yeah, name's Josh. I live in Southwest Florida. And for the last several years, I've been working in the illustration sort of design world. Kind of taking whatever projects come my way, from band stuff to sometimes more corporate stuff. Just been kind of cool to see where illustrations can land. Sometimes it's always kind of a bit surprising, but yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, are you managed by Closer and Closer, or how does that, like, people at your level, I feel like a lot of times have like agents or representation or some kind of pseudo agency thing going on. How does that work for you?
Yeah. So for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been represented by Closer. It's been really cool. A few years ago they reached out and said, like, this is kind of what we do. These are the kind of products we get. Would you be interested in like a trial run? And I tried out for I tried it for a year, and they just kind of opened the door and got my work into places where possibly they wouldn't have seen it before. Cool thing about a company like Closer, or like they have ins and like some of more like corporate, bigger sort of brands that only really like maybe look to agencies and not necessarily following along people on Instagram. Stuff. Some are for sure, but so they have that in. So it's just been a cool connection to have, and I've enjoyed the partnership.
That's amazing. That's so interesting, because that was one of the questions I was going to ask you, like, because that's like my dream. Like what you're doing is literally like my dream. Like working with the people you work with and stuff is so cool. And I was like, how do you get in touch with these people? But that's so cool. That's interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, like kind of on that same note, how often, like, one, are you allowed to, like, somebody says, hey, I'm Timmy Timmons and I own a tire shop. Can you do my new employee t-shirt or whatever? Timmy's Tires t-shirt. Are you allowed to take that stuff on? And like, do you have any interest in that? Or you're like, nope, go to Closer?
Oh, no, I definitely like welcome any kind of project, big or small. So, with Closer, there's like a bracket range, I guess you'd say, and anything lower than a certain amount, it's like you can handle yourself.
That's a super healthy process, I feel like.
Because I never want to like stop. Like some of the funnest projects are like the mom and pop stuff and the smaller things, and when you're working like one-on-one with like one person. So yeah, I'd never want to be in a spot where I like was saying no to those people. And for a long time, I mean, that was like bread and butter for me. So I'm definitely not ever just gonna like be like, nah.
No, I think that's great. And I think I would assume some people do get a little bit of the rock star deal, and they're like, hey, please just don't anybody talk to me. I just want to draw and go to conferences, and then my agent sends me like sick gigs. But that would be a huge drawback in my mind if you're like, hey, this is the Iron Curtain. Like, you're not allowed to take anything. Everything must come through Closer. But that's super cool.
That's amazing. I love that.
In just a second, we're going to pull up some social posts and have you guys walk us through. But before we do that, I want to bring up our last guest of the day, Mr. James Graves.
Hey, James.
Hey, what's up? Yay, I'm here.
Yay!
For the OG Mam fans, man, we should have been using that a long time ago. Mam fans.
Cowboy Coop would have. Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't all over that. That's crazy.
Cowboy Coop he's a previous guest. For those of you who are like, what the heck are they talking about? He's a previous guest who is like constantly spilling ideas he thinks every show, every designer, every person needs a name for their fan base. And he has decided that Bright Coal fans should be cold trolls. And I'm like, homie,
cold trolls.
I can't look somebody in the face and say, are you a cold troll? Like, I said, what did he call it? Marksman, I think is what he had for us. But like man fans.
The Mam Fam.
Mam Fam.
No, Mam Fam. The Mam Fam.
Oh, shoot.
See, that's
and
better.
Of course, we had this idea when we have one more episode left in the season. The Mam Fam.
I just want to say that
I'm
like really bummed out. Like, for whatever reason, I can't comment today. So I want to be in there commenting to everybody, but it's not allowed. It doesn't give me the option to comment. So just know, commenters and friends, I'm here and I love you, but I can't write you back. Sorry.
She hates you. For those of you who are true Mam Fam, though, you are here for episode 1 of this season, whatever season this is. And James, I think you were episode 1, weren't you?
I don't remember, but very early on, yeah. 1 or 2, maybe. I think maybe 1.
Yeah, I just know that was when we had first made the jump to YouTube and StreamYard, and we were still very much going from like Instagram lives to we're recording and we're publishing other places and all that.
It does sound familiar, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to tell us, for those of you who haven't done their homework and watched every single episode of the show up to this point, which you can do on Spotify, podcasts, and YouTube, do you want to give a little intro for yourself?
Yeah, I'm James Graves. I go by Visual Jams Online, and I work full-time at a church, and I do a lot of freelance for churches and ministries, and then I do a bunch of just passion projects as well. So,
and I've just thought of the perfect. I don't know if it's a fan base name, but definitely a call sign for you. Say, hey guys, get on the gravy train.
Yeah, gravy train. Our Wi-Fi is called Pass the Butter, I think, and the password's like in the gravy or something like that. I can't remember, but it's definitely gravy related.
Only gravy related jokes here, please, folks. All right, so now we're going to do a segment of the show where we pull up a social post that you have done, and you went to Creative South. Jealous. Mm-hmm. That's a long ways for you. Man. That's like a 3-hour drive for me, and I couldn't make it happen this year.
Oh, I fly. No way in heck I would drive there.
No, it's still, That's great. Yeah, all right. This is the one that Ashley selected for you. I think this is lovely. Good, man.
I thought it was super cute.
Job with the shadows and the warbly water vibes. Like, that's a great call to have the tile grid style of floor on the swimming pool. Like to really bring out those wavy waves.
So I just wanted, I thought this one was super cute, and I just thought you could talk about what this was for and how you made it.
Yeah, totally. So Indianapolis has something called Bigger Picture Show every year, and it's hosted by an ad agency and the Indianapolis Film Festival. And so what it is you have to be kind of selected to be in this poster show, and you're given a giant list of movies to choose from. Every year there's a theme. And you pick your top 5 movies, submit them, they give you one, and you have to like recreate the movie poster basically for it. Some of them are mashups. So last year's movie poster was I got Finding Nemo and Finding Dory, which was an easy mashup because it was kind of like the series of them. And so this one, the theme was Friday the 13th. So unlucky events happening, and I don't know if you've seen the movie Palm Springs, but that's like what the entire movie is. And cool. I just knew from hearing the title that it was going to give Palm Spring vibes and really beachy, you know, mid-mod kind of century motel type of deal. And so in that, these posters are then auctioned off and people can buy them, and all the money goes to a fundraiser. Cool. It's a really cool event in the sense that nobody's paying me to do this. And so if it looks horrible, it's okay. And I am not the best illustrator. It's not something that people really hire me for because I don't have that much experience doing it. I don't showcase a lot of that work. So this was a super fun challenge to me for one, not only play with the shadows, like you mentioned, Josh, but just illustrating in general. Like the pizza, super easy. People, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never illustrated people before. Like this is a lot more challenging. But there's a scene in the movie where they are holding this beer that's like super popular in the movie. And then it's like an overhead view and they're floating in the pool. They're floating in the pool alone with just them two. And then there's another scene where he's on a pizza float. And I was like, wait, I really want to include the pizza float. So I'm going to make this look like one scene, even though it's not really how it is in the movie. Cool. So that's where I kind of came up with that idea. Yeah.
I love it. That's so awesome. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So you tricked them into letting you design a poster is what I'm hearing. They're like, you get the nod and you're like, yes, I've never done this before. And I'm sure.
Yes. And now I'm like, this was kind of fun. Okay, somebody hire me now.
No, we talked about that before, about like that is where the magic happens, is like I think I can do this, but I don't know quite that I can. Like it's not like you said, hey, yeah, I can help you assemble the 747 out back, no problem. Like you're going from like logo design to like baby steps into illustration. You're like, stretch goal, and it looks great. You crushed it.
Thanks. And the only restraints was the deadline. Like you just have to hit the deadline. And so it's not like you have an art director, somebody like breathing over your neck, like move that, change that. It was all like me, and obviously me sending it to my friends. What do you think about this? Does this make sense? Is this shadow? Like, is that how it really would be in real life? So yeah, a lot of fun. Great design can come out of things that aren't for a client. If they're just for yourself, you're like, oh, yeah, this turned out pretty good.
Actually subscribes to that one. I personally love a little bit of neck breath from a client or a manager, because like I like to have like a problem to solve. I'm like, no,
that's fair.
More.
I definitely, I'm definitely in the free camp. I love
free
just creating.
Spirit. I want a defined problem to solve. I also think it's a missed opportunity. Like they're like, that's a real bummer of a softball with the Dory 1 and 2. Like what I wanted you to say is like Finding Nemo and Terminator. Like that's the poster I'm interested to see.
One year they had a crazy mashup like that. That was before my time, before I was invited into the show, but I feel like that would be super cool.
Heck yeah.
Indeed it would. Oh, Mello, nice.
That would be nuts.
What's what do we have for
So
boy?
Josh, the reason I chose this one because I thought it was cool, the end result. Gosh, I probably like lurked for like a while. Let me see. Hold on. It was a Dave Matthews one, which like I just thought it was
narrow it down.
One, obviously amazing that you worked with that one right there.
There we go.
The towel. I thought that was so cool. Like I've never seen work printed on a giant towel. That's so sick.
Yeah, that's my Photoshop mock-up skills right there.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I thought that was the actual towel.
No, it's good.
Way to call
it
out.
No,
I mean, I didn't know. That's how good it is.
No, the real tower does exist. I just don't have one, so I had to, mock my own up. But yeah, I mean, that was a project for Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds. Every year they do this like kind of 4-day or 3-day like concert down in like Cancun, where like all these Dave and Tim fans come hang out on the beach all day and, you know, party it up and then listen to these dudes sing at night. And from videos and photos I've seen, it looks like pretty unreal down there. But for the last,
real fun.
So cool.
Yeah,
so like a
for
project, like, I mean, I want to talk about this more throughout the episode, but because I'm like fangirling a little bit. Like, you get to work with these people, like, that's so sick. Like, so for instance, like this
to
one.
be fair, like Tim Reynolds is not like giving you feedback, right? Like,
well,
this
that's
is
what I was
all
gonna
kinda-
ask. Like, you're not like, it's through the agency, so you're not physically talking with. Obviously, you're not talking to Dave Matthews about like the creative on this. But I'm just saying, like, it's so cool that they see your product.
One sec.
Like,
Dave Matthews is actually calling me right now. Hold on a second.
hold on.
Everyone hush.
No. Yeah, no, you're right for sure. It's, you know, they have their own representation, whether it be, you know, the management or just like the merchandising company.
Sure.
But with like, they have a specific team of people that I'm always in contact with, and that's who I work with on these projects. But yeah, no, like Dave isn't texting me and giving me
It's still
feedback.
just as cool, though.
Maybe not Dave, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember watching a ton of your lives through the pandemic when you would be on there with like Johnny Swim or other folks, and like you're there with the artist, like showing them for the first time like stuff you've worked on or whatever. Like that stuff was so fun and cool, and I assume that does happen sometimes though, right?
Yeah, there's definitely like, you know, artists and some other bands and stuff that I'm on that kind of like relationship with, where they'll text me projects and, you know, just text over feedback, and I'll just screenshot my stuff and send it, you know, via iMessage.
Sure.
Which, you know, those relationships are cool too. Like, I mean, so some of the early work that I had was all band stuff, and like to eventually like work for bands and things that I was like fans of, and then like to be like, well, wait, you want my number? And like, what? You're gonna text me? Like, say what? That was just super cool, and I still fangirl over those sort of moments. But
oh yeah, heck yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm
you're
nervous.
living my dream.
Not that anybody's asking for this, but like, one thing I'd be nervous about meeting heroes in other or in any category really. It's like there's a band that I love that I have a feeling that they're kind of like jerks and like really melancholy, sad, depressing to be around, and I don't want to meet them because I'm like, I get so bummed hanging out with you guys, and like I want to keep
it ruins it.
I want to keep the illusion rolling here. James,
that's so cool.
On the gravy train.
Gravy train it is.
On the James train. All right, so Ashley, I think you picked something else, but I think we absolutely have to talk about the mural you did in your kids' room, because that's Dad of the Year, and I actually think that's what I commented is Dad of the Year and Designer of the Year. Like, and is your kid? Is it your wife or your kid? That's your wife.
That's my wife.
Like, dang, you got your son to paint it too, like building memories and art.
He did, yeah. He was very involved, but not with the painting. I didn't trust him.
How long did that take you guys?
Like 3 days.
Okay, that's not too bad, but that's so cool.
It wasn't too bad. It was the first. I mean, for definitely the first time I've done chalk. I've done like 1 or 2 murals before, but like I don't know. It was definitely a process and a fun one, really fun one. The projector wasn't big enough. Like we projected it on the wall.
Yeah,
and it wasn't. You couldn't get back far enough. So like we had to do it in like 4 sections, which was a challenge.
That would be so stressful.
That's so crazy.
Like thinking about like, oh no, like the scale is off, and like, you have to like fix
Luckily,
the gaps live with paint.
Yes, there were a few gaps that we had to fix live, but for the most part, I pushed it up right against the wall, so I didn't have to deal with too much math. I was like, I'm not adjusting the angles here.
Yeah,
like,
that's smart.
We're going
that's so
straight
sick.
on.
The little shell, the Mario shell, that's so cool.
Yeah, I added that after we watched the Mario movie.
Oh my gosh, wasn't it so good? I could just talk the whole hour about that.
This new segment is to talk about the Mario movie. It's like 3 weeks in a row now. It's come up on the show
because it's so good.
It was so good.
I'm excited to see it, and I know like you know stuff is good too when people are like raving about the movie, but then like elements of it are taking on a life of their own, like the Jack Black Peaches song is like
darn Peaches song. Yeah, it's good. I do like it. It's a bit
it's the best.
It's over the top.
This feels like a like adjacent style for you.
Yes.
Oh, well, you worked with a buddy. Like this is the composition, like is
So
sick. Cool. The style is sick. Like I love your like main whip over here, but like if you're gonna flex in another road more, like I love that stuff too. Not that you're asking at all, but
no, I'll take it. That was a fun one. I've never done anything like that before, really. I mean, I've done like black and white, and I've messed with shadows of like, so some of those techniques, but like just never in the, I don't really mess around with the hardcore world very often. And he's like my buddy's super into it, and he wants his whole brand to be like very hardcore with like a Christian message on top.
Sure.
Dude, so it was nice. It was a fun project, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Dang,
I love it.
This is great. All right. Guys, lovely to have you all here.
All right, and that's it. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
She does have a kid thing, so we looked at Instagrams together. This is nice.
Yeah.
No, actually, what's our topic for today?
We are, and luckily I wrote it down because otherwise I would not know. We're talking about inspiration without comparison, and this was actually submitted to us by Alex herself.
What?
Yay!
Mainly because I want to hear your guys' take on sometimes I still struggle with it, but I've gotten better throughout the years of kind of shifting my mindset. So I was like, this would be perfect. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts, and we can all just hug each other together and figure out how to navigate this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think as soon as you stop growing and chasing other people, you start dying. So I think like it doesn't matter how accomplished you are, like there is somebody that you're looking at going like, dang, that's sick. How do I do that? Or I wish I could do that. And a lot of times the two ditches that people fall into is either like just straight up theft, or I'm sad I can never get there, or you know, how do we approach that piece of things in a healthy way, I guess is kind of the crux of today.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, for me, like, definitely someone that I would look up to would be like a Josh Noom, like someone who's a Josh Whiting. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely aspire to be bright one day. I'm a cultural, 100%. No, but yeah, I mean, I could see that, yeah, for sure. Like, even just looking at Josh's stuff, I'm like, this is so sick, and it's almost like, you know, you get not FOMO, but almost like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I want to work with those people. I want to do that. So, like, I have a question for Josh. Like, at the level you're at, do you still experience that? Like, seeing other people's work and be like, oh, I wish I could do that? Or are you kind of just like, this is it, I'm good?
No, yeah, I mean, 100%. That's something that, you know, I
never
think no
goes
matter
away.
who you are, like, yeah. And then, you know, not even in just design and artwork, but you look at other people's, you know, maybe houses or life, you think the same thing. But yeah, specifically on design, like, sure, like there's those people out there where, you know, I see and I'm just like dang, like they got something figured out, you know, they got you know, they got something, you know, special or something unique or something. Yeah, and it's definitely easy to, you know, just let that be the last thought, you know what I mean? Like just end it there, like, oh, they're better than me, end it. And that's where you can get into trouble, I think. But I mean, from there, it's, you know, what you can do with that piece that you saw that made you feel those way. I guess what I've told a couple of people is like, if you stop there, sure, get, you know, rather down yourself. But I've tried a couple of times myself just to reach out to the person that made that. And ask them like about that piece, or ask them their inspiration for that piece, or like a technique that they use that maybe you're like drooling over or something. And then you'll find that like most of the time in like the design community, people are like super cool and they'll talk to you about it. And then you'll leave hopefully, possibly like inspired by this conversation you had, rather than just feeling defeated by looking at the work, you know? So that's one like thing I've tried when that happens.
I also think too, when I went on my own a couple of years ago, it was super hard for me to be like, this person who I'm looking up to has 20 years in the industry. Like I am just getting started on my own. I just graduated college like 3 years ago at that time. And so it's like, I hope that they're more talented than me. Like, I hope that they have increased their talent over the years, and that there's no reason for me to necessarily compare myself in that sense of what their designs look like, because mine are going to look like that 20 years down the road. I'm going to improve. Just, when you look at work from even 2 years ago that I did, I was like, really? And like, when we're in the moment, it doesn't feel like we're improving. It just feels like we're doing day to day what we need to do to get by, and just creating cool stuff. And then looking at the work from even 2 years ago, I'm like, whoa, okay, I have improved. It might not seem like it in the moment, but when you really compare to side by side, you're like, okay, see, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Heck yeah.
True.
For sure.
So true. Yeah, I think comparison pretty much for me is always a trap. It either makes me feel better, like superior or inferior, kind of like better than someone else or worse than someone else.
Sure.
So every single time, like, it's a red flag for me. If I start comparing myself or getting sad because I'm looking at something beautiful, I'm like, okay, check it. You're experiencing something awesome right now, and you're woe is me because you didn't make it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a bad
Yeah, that's
mindset.
good. That's
So-
good. Yeah.
Yeah. I try really hard. I mean, like, practically going back, just go back to, I guess, being humble, like an accurate view of myself.
Sure.
What's actually true here and beyond my circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, like, how far am I in the career, or like, what things could I learn from this? Am I actually awesome? Am I loved? Am I actually like cool? And obviously Jesus would say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just like going back to the roots of it, like, where's the actual truth at? And then that can kind of get me to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, I should reach out to them. I should learn from this. I should try to improve instead of moping around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah. Heck yeah.
it's a trap. It's a trap.
remember
I
who
also
said
think
it.
too, to not compare yourself for other people's opportunities. Like, getting an opportunity to work with Dave Matthews Band is so freaking cool, but also not getting down on yourself because you didn't have that opportunity. Obviously,
Yeah.
Josh, you are super talented and your work shows for that. So like, you deserve every minute of all of those opportunities of you getting to work with bands. But there are sometimes other people just have the right connections, and they landed a job with Nike because of somebody that they knew, or somebody who knew somebody. And to not compare yourself to, well, why did they get that and I didn't get that opportunity? Because you never know how they landed it or how they got there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Well,
always an interesting one to me. Like, the people who establish like career goals around, I want to like win this award, or I want this client or this thing. Like, that's so tough to me, because like, you're putting your success and like your benchmarks in somebody else's hands. Like, there's, so many factors at play that are completely outside your control to be able to do that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I've seen people chase it, do it, and like, I'm like, yeah, good for you. Like, you hit your goal. Like, that one has always been a tough one to me, because like, if you say, I'm not happy until I work with Dave Matthews, like, I don't know. That's a tough one, right?
Yeah. I mean, setting good goals though too, like, I don't know, achievable goals that are healthy and not based on comparison. Because like, what makes any of those clients special to work with? Like,
Right.
I don't know, just getting into the truth of it. It's like, what do I actually want in life? What do I actually, defining success for yourself, I guess. Like, what is winning for me? Is it what someone else is doing and everyone is giving them accolades for, or is it something that's going to make me a healthier person and a better husband and a better, friend or whatever?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I also want to echo whoever said, like, just ask people. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I literally did with so many other people. Like, in our buddy Josiah Goldsmith is a great example of this. Like, on paper, if you're giving him the sniff check online, he may or may not be an impressive person if I am a, famous designer, quote unquote. But like, he reaches out to people constantly and has collaborated on like fonts and other projects, and like has really meaningful conversations with killer folks, and has learned a ton doing it just because they'll ask. And he's not saying like, he's not gushing over a design. nor is he asking for something other than information, because I think most of us, like I think there's a previous generation of designers that we talked about last week, like they're trying to sit on the lid and get job security, but that doesn't seem to be the way in 2023. So most folks like want to talk. They're like, hey, I would love to share some of my lessons with you.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
It's
Josh,
so important.
Josh, what are you working on screen right now? For those who can't see his screen, Josh is doing something. What is this, Josh?
It's a flyer design, which I don't do flyers hardly ever, but this is kind of like just a throw in on a project for it's like a 3-day on-site conference type of thing. A lot of churches are moving that direction. They're like, why are we paying all this money for somebody else's campground when we can just like kind of do this thing here?
Yeah.
Very popular. Yes.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense.
I noticed this in Cape Coral. That's just like down the road from me here. That's like literally like a stone's throw away.
Nice.
That's cool.
Small world.
So that's pretty funny. I saw that actually earlier when you were just kind of like moving around on the screen, and I was like, wait a second. So
yeah,
it's Cape Coral.
Here, I'll pull it up. This is what I've got, like 4 things I've got to finish tonight. This is one that is not really done, but it's on the way. It's a leadership college, so like SEU and like larger, like what's it called? Accredited schools will feed people into the church for on-the-job training. So it needs to be legitimate, but it's also kind of vibey.
Yeah.
And they haven't even seen this yet, so don't tell them. Send it to them tonight. But like they're
Awesome.
like, we want it to feel like a surf shop and a coffee shop and a country club had a baby. And I'm like, okay, this is my best stab at that. And you also have 1,000 letters in your name. So
Yeah. That's
good
cool.
luck with that one. But
I like it.
I'm pretty pumped. I haven't quite nailed everything down yet, but I'm feeling
The colors are great. I love that palette.
Yeah, they picked a lot of those, and I'm a big fan too.
I literally have friends that go to that church. So
really,
they're
great. I've done a couple of the things for them now, and they've got that like 6 splash pad out there, and I said that's going on the getting a little doodly version of that puppy on there for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, like a kid's splash pad?
I'll pull it up. It's sick.
Yeah, they have like a it's like kind of like a community outreach thing. They have it in the front, I believe, like it's open to the public,
That's cool.
Yeah,
Very
they're
nice.
literally listed as one of the like things to do in in Cape Coral. Like they've made it onto blog posts and stuff. It's like, go visit the church's splash pad.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Good for them. That's awesome.
Yeah. Not a lot to do in Cape Coral.
Apparently.
That's
How do
awesome.
Sorry.
You think
Sounds a
we
lot
have
like
figured
Dayton.
this out by now? Stop screaming.
I mean, I can say the same thing about Fort Myers too. But
That's great.
Do any of you guys live in a happening kind of crazy place?
I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so no.
Good old suburbia, man. I love it.
This is it.
That's where
It's
the
called
magic
Fellowship
happens.
Park. It has an actual name,
Okay, that's cool.
Nice.
but it's like I'm trying
Okay.
to get that zoomed out view. Like it's sick. It's bigger than you think too.
That's awesome.
And a church made this. It's like a legit
Yeah, they said, hey, we're gonna have like
government funded park.
That's sweet.
That's awesome.
That's super cool. So I want to do this. What are each of you guys working on today? Whether that's like design stuff or just what are you doing after this podcast? We've never done that before. I'm interested to hear what everyone's working on.
I am working on logo revisions for a client of mine. She's starting her own kind of PR communication gig. And so I sent over the 3 different concepts the beginning of the week, and she came back with wanting to hone in on one and just making a couple revisions from there.
Nice.
So excited to get that finalized and out the door before the weekend. That's always a good feeling.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. What about you, Josh?
I started like in the early stages of like like a mural for a school campus, like a university.
Cool.
And yeah, so today I like kind of laid it out, sent over an initial sketch that's gonna get the ball rolling.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think I'm happy with it so far, and we'll see what they say.
That's
Do you
cool.
send a digital sketch or is it a literal
Yeah.
sketch on paper? Okay.
No, it's just like Procreate Sketch.
Sure.
Obviously super loose and stuff. So I always preface with that, like, hey, this is a bit loose. You might have to use your imagination a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it starts there, and depending on feedback and changes, you might get a couple more rounds of that and then go from there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about
nice.
you, James?
Well, I don't think I'll be doing anything the rest of the day, but I did finish up this morning a freelance project for a church, Connection Point Church. I think they're in Indiana, but I'm not positive on that.
Cool.
And it's their students. It's like a timeline, I guess, for their students. They're doing a whole thing next year about called Worldview. So like building a good foundation. So they have all these events based on that, and they just wanted me to do kind of. It was inspired. They were very much inspired by my like biblical timeline.
Yeah.
That I did. So it's very similar to that, but just kind of tweak the style a little bit. And
that's cool.
And it's like each square has a little illustration that talks about that event that's coming up, and then they can put a little star when they go to it on it. So
that's cool. That's awesome.
Is the logo for this church a C and a P like together?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure this church is like 20 minutes away from me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Connection Point with an E at the end of point.
Yes. I rebranded a church last year, and on their inspo board, they kept referring to this church. Connection Point just rebranded, and we really love their mark. And they were showing me their entire new brand, so that's hilarious.
Yeah, they're incredible to work with. I've worked with them several times. They only work with freelancers pretty much, and they have it down to a science, and they're really good at it, and they're very efficient, and they give you all the changes. They give you a mood board.
Dude,
that's
great. They could write a white paper for people, because there's a wide range of people's abilities to like hire outside help, and so many people ask me like, how do we do this well? And I say, I've got my like process for projects. I can't speak for everybody, but somebody who has done that well with other people, because unless you bring and say like, this is how I work, like it's kind of the Wild West, like every project.
It is, yeah. I've been very impressed with I would love for them to write a white paper or something, just so I can do it for my church. Yeah. I've taken a lot of what they've done.
Talked to, please.
No, I'm full time, but I would love to use more freelancers and stuff. How to manage that, and that's a whole. They literally have someone on staff that just manages freelancers. I'm pretty sure is all his job is. Maybe a few other things, but. So it's just, they do a really good job with it. They're very fun to work with. You pay them you just pay them whatever hours it took, which is nice. I don't have to worry about pre-quoting jobs or anything. So yeah, they're a good client.
That's awesome.
So I feel like, James, you get a lot of projects that are like different. And I know a lot of it's for your home church, but like you're talking about the timeline thing. And I've seen you do like brochures or just other things that aren't like quite as normal. How much of the time are you pitching, hey, this would be a cool idea, like can we go do this please? Or are they just sending you some interesting like weird asks?
A lot of it comes, so since I work full time, I'll get a project and I elevate it. I just make it awesome. I'm like, I don't care it's a brochure, but I'm going to make it as cool as I possibly can. Tons of illustrations. Cause I'm just like that. It's more fun for me. I'm always playing. And so I do that. And then I put it on my portfolio, on Instagram, whatever. And then another church is like, oh, that's what that could look like. I want that. You do that for me. And I'm like, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, you're somebody that I point
so I end
to
up with
and say if James Graves is the dream staff employee for churches, because you've established a house style, You like take projects and expand them into cooler things than they would have been otherwise, and just like you could go probably do more and different and better things if you wanted to. Like, nope, this is my home. Like, I'm committed here. I'm loyal. I'm making some assumptions and reading between the lines here, but like that's what it looks
Not
like
far
outside
off,
looking
yeah.
in. I'm like, you just need to go hire James Graves or a James Graves type, because that's the dream.
It's yeah. Well, I mean, it helps that the church is like just really good place to work. It's not like they just work really hard at making it like personal development and leadership development and not toxic, and like problems don't age well. And so I've worked at churches that were not fun to work.
Can you please list those by name so we can pull them
No.
up and talk about them on the podcast here?
They might be listening, so no, I'm not. No, they're all, every church I've worked with is
kidding.
great. No, but there's just some. It's a wild west out there for sure. So, but I was very fortunate. Been very fortunate so far. I mean, I don't know what's in the future, but
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I always like to know this answer from fellow creatives. Do you feel like a lot of people are finding you through Instagram, or like people who want to work with you, or do you feel like it's word of mouth? Or when you get larger, I'm just curious how people tend to find you.
I feel like for me, a lot of the people that I work with are from Instagram, like reaching out to me from that, or even Pinterest too, which is
Really
kind of funny. Yeah.
I've been trying to get more into Pinterest, so that's motivating that you say that.
Yeah. Pinterest is such a weird thing because I have like, I mean, not like crazy, but like quite a few like people that pin my stuff, but I don't even know how to do it. I just literally just post
She's
a
pinned
pin
from
and
us,
that's
guys.
like it.
Don't let her.
No, but I did like I don't even
She's
know.
a master
like,
course on
no, I literally don't even. I actually had a call with Pinterest like a couple months ago, like an actual girl. I'm like, help me, like, how do I like actually utilize this? And she explained it to me, and I still don't get it. Like, I don't even understand what I'm doing. But I don't know.
I love that
so
you
good.
said. I mean, it feels like the congressional hearing on TikTok. So Pinterest, I need Pinterest on the phone. Where are my files? Do you have
What
them
do
in a
I
box
do?
somewhere?
How does this work?
Where do the clients? Where do you have my clients?
It's funny. Yeah. No, I'm realizing more and more like how like not tech savvy I am in so many ways. It's really funny.
Well, with
but
all these new not that Pinterest is new, but with all these other new platforms, I'm like, it's too much. I can't.
It's
And like
It
this
is too
Lemon
much.
8 one, I'm like,
I did that
like
one.
a
I
digital
joined that
scrapbook.
one and I'm like, I don't get it. Like I literally
made
just
one
post like I
post.
do. Yeah.
Guys, we're
And
getting
I'm like,
old.
nope,
We're so
getting
old.
too much
so
work.
old.
Starting to
old.
talk like my dad. It's too much. Not enough. No more internet sites. We've had enough.
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting off the line. I don't want to be on the line.
Oh my gosh.
We've been talking about inspiration, and I personally enjoy cruising around Pinterest for inspiration. But like, what do you guys do for like what's your watering holes?
Pinterest for sure.
Pinterest first, and then I love Dribble. Somebody at Creative South this year was like, Dribble's dying, and I was like, no, I use it all the time.
Interesting.
I was gonna ask that actually. Is Dribble dying?
Okay.
I post so infrequently. So
I haven't posted on there in years, but I've heard that it's actually like, at least like the closer and closer folks are saying that a lot of the inquiries to them are coming through Dribble and through Behance. So I haven't posted on either of those in ages, but like they're encouraging people to like update your portfolios on those, because seems to, Instagram's so saturated with stuff now. They're just going to places where they know they'll find design
Interesting.
work.
That's cool. That's good to know.
Love that.
So yeah, slowly update those. That's what I've been trying to do. It can't hurt, right? Just to have one more place where there's some work out there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone else like dread work, like posting your portfolio, like gathering it up and putting it? Because I literally hate doing that. Like, I don't know why.
Do you dread it before you start, or do you like lose gas immediately after you start?
Just having to like, I don't know, gather all the files together and do. I guess it'd be easier if I was doing it like frequently. I mean, I guess I kind of do that like on Instagram, but I'm saying like on my website actually posting work. Like I don't I have no desire to do that. And I need to do it, but I just don't want to.
Yeah. Well, website stuff isn't rewarding because you're like,
True.
Just work.
Yeah.
Instagram, Dribble, you're part of a community and you're like, you're using that community for inspiration. So you're adding to it and it's like a give and take, but and it is otherwise, but it's not as obvious, I guess. Yeah. I don't like it. It's ugh.
I definitely don't update my website as much as like Dribble and Instagram and stuff. Website is probably like twice a year, which probably should be more. But for like social media stuff, I actually really enjoy it. And what I do is at the end of every project, I make another task as like part of that project. So if it's a branding suite, I make a task for create social graphics for Pinterest, Dribble, Instagram, and just knock it all out at the same time. That way it doesn't feel, and then I don't have to post it right then and there. Yeah. But that way they're done. So if I'm ever bored one morning, or if I need, like, I've been staring at this poster for too long, let me do something else, that's on my kind of ongoing list.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So I think just trying to incorporate into your process, then it becomes more of a task and less like a daunting, like, well, I don't really need to do this, I'm just never going to do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's super smart to include the other ones. I do that for Instagram because I'm like, I enjoy it. It's like ministry for me a little bit, just inspiration. But man, Dribble is difficult.
It's just resizing the same thing that you put on Instagram.
I end up half the time I'll just take what I did with Instagram and throw it in Photoshop and just like try to fudge the. I'm like, how do I get this as
add some
quick
more
as
edges.
Possible?
I just say lately, I freaking hate Photoshop. Like my Photoshop has been so annoying and I just hate it. Like I don't even want to open it anymore. Like
what do you feel like you're primarily using Photoshop for?
If I just things for work, like mocking things up or whatever, like I just hate it. Like I hate doing it. If I could do everything in Illustrator forever, that'd be great. But
same.
Man, I use Illustrator for way too much stuff.
Actually, what's y'all's percentage breakdowns? Because I know, I know you and I are like 90% Illustrator. I'm probably like 20 maybe percent Procreate, maybe 30 for some projects. But what about the rest of you guys? What's your pie chart of tools you use the most?
I'm probably 10% Procreate. So I'm not doing the math.
Okay,
a lot of percent Illustrator. And honestly, I use InDesign quite a lot. I do a lot of like annual report stuff or like magazine spreads, and I use InDesign for that.
Yeah, I'm
probably.
Yeah,
go ahead, man.
No, you got
you. No.
Okay, I'll go.
Oh yeah,
I'll go. Yeah. So Illustrator for like, I don't know, 70%. InDesign for, I don't know, 30-ish maybe. And then Photoshop for, another 10 for, if we're going over 100, I guess.
Yeah, your numbers are just an illusion here on Making Mark.
Well, we're artists, so I went to art school, so I didn't have to do math.
You do seem like 110% kind of guy, though.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think
I just had an epiphany though. Is it the Mam Fam or is it the Mammally?
Mam Fam. I like Mam Fam.
Mam Fam.
Sorry,
that's
sorry.
Too much.
That
was too much.
What you got?
And you cut off Josh. Let Josh finish.
I did. I'm so sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. I think mostly it's just Procreate. Probably like 80% maybe. Because there's just so much drawing, and then I use Photoshop and Illustrator probably pretty equally, like the other 10s. I used to just avoid Illustrator at all costs. But yeah, I use the same 3 tools in each of the programs now, so it's but yeah, I spend hours in Procreate, and then finishing touches are usually in either of those programs. But
that's awesome.
So let me ask you something. When I'm pulling something from Procreate, I always want to expand or like turn it into vector, right? Because I don't feel, and I don't know if this is like a weird tick of mine, but I feel like the design is not quote unquote real unless it's scalable.
Yeah.
And there's so many times where that is not reality. Like you could print the thing out of Procreate, you could go do the thing out of Photoshop, like it could work. But like in my soul, I'm like, it's not. It's not a vector yet.
When I zoom in, it's pixelated.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Bright Cold Josh. I have to leave in like a minute. Can we do you want to do the drawing prompt before I leave, or do you want me to just
No, let's do
head
this
out?
puppy.
Okay.
Jeff Kane actually had a great prompt for us. It is draw yourself getting old and losing touch. You have 60 seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Tell us when to go,
Ready,
Josh.
Set, go. I'm so ready for this moment. Ashley, you're allowed to draw a face on this one.
Yeah, I know. I figured
She
this one was
says-
the perfect one.
I don't have to listen to you anyway.
Mine looks so mad. It's so bad. This is so ugly. Oh my god.
Dang. You should give up, Ashley. I'm going to win this week for sure.
You are for sure. This one's so terrible.
And that's time, folks. Pencils down. And by pencils, I
Gotta
mean
do my
Sharpies.
shoes. Okay. Oh my god, this is so ugly. Okay. Okay, let me show you mine first because I have to leave because I have to go get my kids.
All
Okay.
right, great.
This is me, an old hag.
Oh gosh.
No,
Okay.
it's like the
hair is so
sidebar just
ugly.
never stopped growing.
But she's still doing the peace sign. See?
She says, "I'm still with it a
I'm
little
still
bit."
myself, you know.
All right,
Okay.
everybody,
I
hold
have
up
to
your
leave.
artworks
Thank
together.
you guys for
Ashley,
being here.
we love you. Peace out.
All right,
We're gonna
see
be
ya.
landing the plane soon
Bye.
anyway. Oh no, he's dead. James, where's your art?
Sorry,
There he
sorry,
is.
sorry,
Oh,
sorry. There it
he's
is.
been over. Little Yoda vibes. Leave me alone. That's beautiful.
Biggest ears ever.
All right, Alex, you go first. Pitch your work to the class here.
Well, considering I don't do any drawings with Sharpie ever, that was kind of my thoughts in my head, and then it kind of just fit. You would say the same thing if you were falling out of touch. Oh no.
And there's so much raw emotion coming through in that one.
Yeah.
Like it's just the open circle.
She's just
mouths
trying
and
to survive
eyes.
at this point.
She's just trying to survive. That's one of the reasons we give the 60-second timers, because otherwise the Jameses and Joshes of the world, like you give them another 30 seconds and they just keep like the gap keeps expanding. Like what we're doing is we have Usain Bolt and we're in a 8-foot race. So he can only run so much faster than you in 8 feet. And that's part of the intention behind it here.
Love it.
Smart.
Josh, what you got, homie? Baby?
I'm not the best at like portraits, so I just kind of took the route of, hiding myself. So, I'm usually like a corner of the room kind of guy anyway. Like I stand in the corner of the room if there's a group of people. So maybe as I get old, I just kind of disguise myself in other places so I don't
As a
talk to
dead
people.
person in the grave. I love that.
I heard it's
No, that's
quiet.
beautiful.
Now, so.
I don't think you can get more out of touch than being dead. So you win the factually accurate race. For
Dead
sure.
but still communicating. I love that.
James, how about you, dog?
Ugh. Yeah. Bald like me. Very bald. But
I love
not
the
shaved.
sprigs.
And then
No
just channeled my Gindi Teratavosky, creator of Samurai
Yes.
Jack, and just went like no, your shoulders straight from the thing. But I wanted to make really big ears. That was my big thing. I was like, ears on old people are just
They don't
wild.
stop growing. I don't think, right? Like
I don't think.
your
Yeah, ears and
just keep
noses, man.
growing
They just keep
forever.
going. So just very.
Welcome to the anatomy section of Making a Mark. We'd have the
And
math
squinty
section
eyes.
earlier. Bro, he very much looks like he's like Yoda's neighbor. Like he's different, but they definitely chill.
Yes.
All right, mine is I've got a mustache and I'm a little bit disgruntled. Like I'm already fairly gruntled right now, but I'm super disgruntled by then. and my head is shiny. I'm losing hair now, but I will be shiny on top by then. I'm just gonna keep that power donut. I'll probably still wear hats by then though, but it'll be more like on that pawpaw. How like set it up like there. Like it's just perched on top of your head, and you got your Dickies on, and
Yes.
you're patting down, like looking for stuff. Like that's gonna be my zone by then.
The sad thing is, you'll probably just look exactly like this. It'll just be the new old man look, right? That's how it works, isn't it?
That is exactly how that works.
Isn't that how it goes?
Yes.
Yeah, you think like, hey, I'm fine, but you see it, people are like, oh yeah, you just stopped getting different haircuts in 1978, and that's fine for you. That's a fine life choice that you've made. But
There's nothing wrong with that.
guys, this has been fantastic. Thank you all so much for your time today, and it was really, truly great to meet all of you and talk shop a little bit. I hope you all have a great rest of the day and a great weekend.
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you guys.